Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and today we have an exciting and very important topic for all English learners. Stop thinking, start talking. And of course, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Julia. How are you today, Julia?
Hi, Jason. I'm doing great, and I'm really excited about today's episode. This is a topic that so many English learners struggle with, overthinking before they speak. Instead of just talking, they keep worrying about grammar, pronunciation, or whether they're saying things correctly, and that stops them from improving.
Exactly. I hear this all the time. What if I make a mistake? What if people don't understand me? What if I sound silly? And because of this fear, many learners hesitate to speak English at all. But here's the truth. If you want to be fluent, you have to stop thinking too much and just start speaking.
That's right. The more you speak, the better you get. But how can you stop overthinking? How can you train yourself to speak more naturally? That's exactly what we'll be talking about today.
Yes! So, if you're someone who always hesitates before speaking English, stay with us until the end, because we'll be sharing some powerful tips, exercises, and mindset shifts that will help you speak English confidently without overthinking. Let's get started. So, before we get into solutions, let's first talk about the problem. Why do so many English learners overthink before speaking? What's stopping them from just talking naturally?
That's a great question, Jason. I think one of the biggest reasons is the fear of making mistakes. Many learners think, what if I say something wrong? Or what if people laugh at me? This fear makes them stay silent instead of trying to speak.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, native speakers make mistakes all the time. They mispronounce words, they forget grammar rules, they even make sentences that don't make perfect sense. But they keep talking. The difference is, they don't overthink it.
Right. But English learners often feel pressure to speak perfectly, so they pause, they correct themselves too much, and in the end, they don't say anything at all. And that's a big problem because the only way to improve is to practice speaking.
That's true. Another reason why learners overthink is translating from their native language. Instead of forming sentences naturally in English, they try to think in their own language first, then translate it word by word. And of course, that takes time, so by the time they're ready to speak, the conversation has already moved on.
Yes, and that makes them feel frustrated, so they stop trying. Another common problem is lack of confidence. Some learners feel like their accent isn't good enough, or they don't have a big vocabulary, so they just stay quiet.
And that silence actually makes the problem worse. The less you speak, the more nervous you feel about speaking. It becomes a cycle of overthinking and avoiding English conversations.
Exactly. But the good news is you don't need to be perfect to speak English fluently. You just need to be confident and keep talking. And that's what we're going to help you with today.
Yes! Now that we understand the problem, let's talk about the solution. Why speaking without thinking too much is the key to fluency. All right, now that we understand why learners overthink, let's talk about the solution. Why speaking without thinking too much is the key to fluency. Julia, why is it so important for learners to stop overanalyzing and just start speaking?
Great question, Jason. The main reason is that fluency comes from practice, not perfection. The more you speak, the faster your brain gets at forming sentences naturally. If you always stop to think about grammar and vocabulary before you speak, you'll never develop the speed and confidence you need.
That's so true. Think about how babies learn to talk. They don't study grammar first, right? They just listen, repeat, and keep talking, even if they make mistakes. And over time, their speech improves naturally.
Exactly. And adults can learn the same way. Instead of waiting until your English is perfect, you should speak as much as possible even if you make mistakes. That's how real fluency develops.
Yes, I always tell learners, speak first, fix later. If you focus too much on correctness while speaking, it slows you down. But if you just talk and worry about small mistakes later, you'll sound much more natural.
That's a great tip. And another thing, native speakers don't care about small mistakes. If you communicate clearly, they will understand you. Nobody is judging you as much as you think.
Exactly. And actually, the more relaxed and natural you are when speaking, the more confident you sound. Confidence makes people listen to you more than perfect grammar does.